Welcome to the Hudson Show. Coming up, why Kraft might owe you money for buying their mac and cheese.
And what's better after a pickleball championship? A trophy or a kick in the face?
All that and more on the way next. Is November 19th considered early to put up your Christmas decorations?
I don't think so.
It's not early?
Especially because I feel like Thanksgiving is so late this year that you're really not going to be able to enjoy your Christmas decorations as much if you wait until after Thanksgiving.
Yes, I'm with you on that. But so this is an important question. When is it considered early to put up your decorations? I
would say before Halloween is early.
That's the only line.
Yeah, because it's a different time of year.
That is, I consider that extreme. Here's why I ask. Because according to psychologist Carmen Hera, they claim that putting up your Christmas decorations could be a sign that you're a narcissist.
Putting them up
early.
Okay.
Putting them up early, which in Allie's mind is before Halloween. To be clear, if you put them up after Halloween, you are not putting them up early at all. Carmen Hera, the psychologist, says putting up Christmas decorations early can reveal concealed emotions and subconscious behavioral tendencies. Also says narcissists derive a sense of high satisfaction from being the center of attention, from being praised and applauded. And so it makes sense that putting up your Christmas decorations early could be a sign of narcissistic behavior.
This also just sounds like she watched Christmas Vacation and was trying to psychoanalyze Clark Griswold. And was like, yep, narcissist.
Yeah. I think I put up my Christmas decorations early.
Okay.
And I did it this weekend.
Yeah.
But I think most people would consider that early. And so I'm concerned that people would think that I'm a narcissist. And based off of this assessment, the things, I derive a high satisfaction from being the center of attention. Yes. From being praised and applauded. Yes. However, is that why I put up my Christmas decorations? No. I did that because it makes me happy. I've never been praised or applauded for putting them up on November 15th.
Well, and I also think a part of it is, it's your own happiness that I want to put them up. It makes me feel happy. And my sister put up her Christmas tree last night. And it was just something where it's she was at home. She had time. She's got 3 little kids. So when you have the time, you got to take the time.
Yeah.
But also, if you're putting out decorations outside, if you look at the weather forecast, it's probably a good idea that you did go ahead and put them up this weekend.
Exactly. I was getting into my dad era looking at, if I do it this weekend, it should be nice. If I do it next weekend, I don't know. Might as well do it now. Was exactly what was going through my head.
It's such a dad thing to say, but it's so true.
Yeah.
It's so true. You have to factor that in if you're putting out lights on your house or inflatables, whatever you put outside. If you're setting that up, taking a look at the weather and doing it a little bit earlier to beat some of this winter weather that might be coming our way soon, it's not a bad idea.
I also feel a little vindicated that I haven't gone full dad mode, because I don't think any real dads would say, I got into my dad era. That's not what actual dads. My dad would never say that.
Mine either.
Kraft might owe you money. Specifically, they may wind up owing money to basically everyone who's ever eaten their mac and cheese. In other words, they might owe literally everyone money. After a new class action lawsuit has been filed against Kraft Heinz for they make it, in Canada they call it Kraft Dinner. The mac and cheese. Because the lawsuit alleges that Kraft advertises its mac and cheese as free from artificial preservatives, dyes, and fragrances. That'd be crazy if it had artificial fragrances in it. Was that like perfume?
Yeah, I guess that would be something to make it smell better, but it's artificial.
Yeah. So that is that is what their advertisements, and I believe if you just look at the packaging, is what it would say. However, the lawsuit claims that the product mac and cheese contains citric acid, sodium phosphate, and sodium triphosphate, which could be considered additives. So if this lawsuit succeeds, that really means that Kraft would have to send basically everybody some kind of restitution, some kind of payment to make up for lying about their mac and cheese.
Which means you'll all get letters in the mail that's like, you could get money if you
have to claim it.
Claim it, and then you end up getting like $5.
Yeah, which is really not right considering the amount of money that I probably spent on Kraft mac and cheese.
Right.
Like you add that all up, but what they usually do though is like you can get, if this wins, the way it normally would go is like if you have your receipts, then they're like you can send in all the receipts of all the times you bought it during the effective period up to a certain amount, and they'll have to pay you back for each of those times. But who has saved all of those receipts?
Yeah.
Maybe if you check your Kroger account, it might be worth it. They might have the digital receipts.
Maybe.
Literally, Kroger kept the receipts for all of us so that we can get back what's ours, what's owed to us from Kraft mac and cheese.
Not so fast, Hudson. As we read here, the words that I look at the most are it could be considered as additives, because the FDA has come in here and they also say that consumers are entitled to know what's in their food, but they don't agree that preservatives like citric acid, sodium phosphate, and sodium triphosphate are dangerous for human consumption. So there's a chance this class action lawsuit might not even win.
Yes. So you're telling me that I shouldn't be banking on a check coming from Kraft to like take care of me down the line.
No.
I should not be just holding on. Once this lawsuit clears, everything is going to change for me. No. My ship's coming in.
Kraft Daddy ain't coming to help you.
You know what? Honestly, not that this would stop me from claiming the money if this wins. But, whatever they put in Kraft mac and cheese, they could be putting pencil shavings in there for all I care. Because it tastes good.
You're still just going to eat it.
I just keep buying it. Yeah. Honestly, is there anything like for such a cheap price that can make you so happy?
I mean, I'm sure there's things that are cheaper that I do like, but I would agree I'm probably not going to.
You talk about like
my habits.
Bang for your buck, like satisfaction. Mac and cheese from a box. It doesn't even have to be Kraft. Don't let Kraft hear this, but Kroger brand, whatever the store brand is, they're all good.
Bob Evans.
Sure.
That's the one I go for.
Happy Tuesday. Allie's wearing her Cleveland Cavs jersey. Is there a special occasion for that?
Oh, absolutely.
What's going on?
Only the biggest game in the regular season so far, maybe even the entire regular season for this year, with the Cavs going to TD Garden tonight.
That's actually not saying much, the biggest game of the regular season.
So I'll explain. I'll explain to the audience. No. So basically, if you haven't heard my updates, and I give an update every time the Cavs play to Hudson off the mic.
Yeah,
I come in and I'm like, my Cavs are this record because they're undefeated. So they're 15-0, which is awesome. So they're tied for the second best start in the NBA. The best start is by the Golden State Warriors when they were 24-0 to start a few seasons back when they went, I think it was like 73-9 overall.
And we all remember how that turned out.
Yeah.
They didn't win.
They did not win the championship. That was when the Cleveland Cavaliers won the championship. So I know. But yes, they are 15-0, and they're going to play against the Boston Celtics tonight in the TD Garden. So this is also not just a regular season game. It's an NBA Cup game, which is a new thing that the NBA introduced last season to get more interest in the regular season. So it still counts in your regular season record, but it is for a in-season tournament. So this is the pool play that's at the beginning of the tournament. But yeah, so it's a big game, obviously, with this win streak going in there. But also, the Cavs and the Celtics played in the playoffs last season. The Cavs were without Jared Allen and Donovan Mitchell, two of their best players, ended up losing in 5 games to the Celtics. The Celtics went on to win the championship last year. So overall, the tension is high. And I just feel like this is just... You can't get better than this. We're on, November 19th, and we're getting a game like this at the Garden. Like, this is what every NBA fan wants. I'm glad that you're so excited about it. I'm stoked. I'm glad that there's something to generate some interest in the NBA in the regular season. You say this is the biggest game of the season, so what happens if
like, what are the stakes? Obviously, you lose the undefeated season if you lose. Then what do you think will happen?
Well, I think, so first of all, the stakes are not only with the NBA Cup, but also the undefeated season. You know, you want to keep this train rolling as long as it can go. Because if you get past this Boston game, there's a real shot that you might end up getting closer or, you know, potentially breaking that Golden State Warrior record. Obviously, many games to come to try and beat that record. You'd have to win 10 more. But and that's no easy task because you have 2 against Boston in that stretch. But yeah, that's definitely what's on the line for this.
I think this is huge. Like, let me put it this way. If the Cavs win tonight, it really says a lot about them because the Celtics are going to be motivated, not just because of the cup. You know, like, this is the problem with the NBA is that many games, even if the Cavs were 15-2 and this wasn't an NBA Cup game, you might find one team or the other not care and literally not play some of their best players because it's just another one of the many, many, many regular season games that there's too many of. But this one, they're going to care. Yeah. This matters. So if the Cavs win fair and square against a motivated Celtics team, that's saying that they've got a real shot at winning the championship, where many of these other 15 wins they've gotten so far, it's like, what, you know, whatever. Because it's not your goal to go undefeated necessarily. It's your goal to win the championship because nobody remembered that the Warriors had the streak. Yeah. We only found that out because the Cavs are winning a bunch of games now. Yeah. But if we asked any random person right before the NBA season started, who has the longest winning streak to start the season, nobody would have known.
Yeah, no one would know that for the most part, but it is kind of that golden warrior number, if you will, that we're trying to reach. But yeah, it's for me, it's more of a big deal that it's against Boston. It's in the Garden because I was crushed last year with that playoff. It just wrecked me. It wrecked me because I love Jared Allen, I love Donovan Mitchell, and the fact that they weren't playing and that we lost that series, it killed me. So I really hope they win tonight.
It was anticlimactic last season, to say the least. We're going to call this Indulge Alley Tuesday, I think. Because we just talked about the Cavaliers, the Cleveland Cavaliers, NBA regular season. Now, pickleball. What's the craziest thing you've ever seen on a pickleball court as a pickleball, like actually that you've experienced?
I saw a crazy, what we call ATP shot, which is around the pole. So that's the poles of the net. And so you see this in tennis sometimes too, where a player will shoot or hit a shot that goes kind of around the net. So they're kind of coming around it, but not fully, on the other side of the court. So those are kind of insane shots sometimes. Also, I saw a really good, what we call Ernie shot, which is when you jump from one part of the court around to the other part. I can't explain it in my words.
No, it sounds impressive. It sounds like we'd all would love to see that. The craziest thing I've seen, because I've never played pickleball, is this video that came out over the weekend. A pickleball, this isn't like the pickleball tour, but it was a pickleball championship where it was doubles, right?
Yep, doubles.
I know that much. And the match comes to an end. The winner, he shouts some expletives, but then they're coming up to the net. To the net for the good game taps. Yep. Everybody does that. What is that? The good game taps. You tap each other's paddles. A good game. Oh, why not just high five? No, you tap paddles. That's what you do in pickleball. I don't like that. Because I would never do that if I was playing ping pong or tennis, right? You wouldn't hit your equipment together. But pickleball is not ping pong and pickleball is not tennis. Or badminton. If I was playing like a respected net sport, I would not. Anyways, so the paddle falls out of one of the loser's hands, and clearly with the expletives being shouted first, and then the paddle getting knocked out of his hand. The loser took exception to the situation. The winner, literally, his name is Peter Schonk, literally bent down to pick up the paddle that got knocked out of the guy's hand. And as he bends down, he gets kicked in the face by the loser. He gets absolutely clobbered by this guy. It looks like it knocks him out. Yeah.
He takes the whole net with him down. Like, it's insane that this, you got some anger issues? Like, what's going on here?
I didn't know tensions could get so high on a pickleball court.
Oh, I believe it. But yeah, I've never seen anything that crazy before.
Yeah. He says he's okay. Some interpreted, and I feel like maybe you as a pickleball expert would know this. Some interpreted as he knocked the paddle intentionally out of the guy's hand. And that's why the guy was upset. But I don't think that is, you're talking about like it's normal to tap paddles after.
It's normal to tap paddles. He does use his hand though. So, and sometimes people do that. Sometimes people mix hand and paddle or whatever. So it's like a high five to the paddle. But, according to him, he was just so fired up that he didn't realize the force he was kind of giving to it, and he just knocked the paddle out of the guy's hand. So I guess both sides can kind of learn something here. Like, hey, don't be the winner that's a little over the top, and also don't be the sore loser that's going to kick a guy in the face, you know, after losing a game.
I'll admit, he did seem annoying to me before he got kicked in the face, but that doesn't justify him getting kicked in the face.
No.
You know, Santa sees you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake. And now he might wind up calling you, too. He may wind up giving you a call this holiday season thanks to a new website called santaphonecalls.com, where you, as a parent, if you want to get Santa to call your children, all you have to do is pay $9.95, and Santa will give you a call, or your kids a call, wait, what is the time limit on this? I'm trying to see.
So it looks like for $9.95, children can receive a one-time call from Santa, and for $14.95, kids can chat with him for 5 minutes. So I don't know exactly what the time limit is for the $9.95 one.
Does that sound like Santa to you, though?
No.
I don't mean like, what is the voice? I mean like...
To charge children to talk to him?
Would Santa do that?
I don't buy it.
Yeah. I feel like the real Santa either is just not going to call, or he would do it for free because he's excited about Christmas and wants to check in on you and give you some motivation to be good the rest of the year.
Right.
Get some good presents.
Exactly. And we know Santa's busy and time is money. So I get the whole like charging thing.
Right.
But yeah, this just doesn't fit the vibe of Santa.
He is busy, but also if he can make it around the entire world in one night with Christmas magic, I think he could also find the time to call all the kids that need to be called for free.
Yeah,
with Christmas magic.
But should we really be adding this to his task list? Like
he does have enough to do.
He seems like he's plenty busy right now.
Hold on, though. He has enough to do on Christmas Eve. What is he doing the rest of the time, though?
Well, fair enough.
But then thinking about that, like, if I was Santa, wouldn't you, like, if it was, like, on your list of things to do to call all the girls and boys, wouldn't you, like, spread that out throughout the year? Right. Trying to make it easier on yourself and try to get it all accomplished in, like, a month before Christmas?
Right. It seems a little delayed. But, yeah, I would start on January 1st if I was Santa.
Well... santaphonecalls.com if you want to pay some version of Santa to call you.
Yeah.
Even the Santas at the mall and, you know, wherever you find Santa now, that's usually free.
Yeah.
Right? Usually.
The Santa reps, those are free.
Yeah. We call this Fired or Hired on the Hudson Show. Whenever you've got workplace issues that you need advice, some help with, let us know at 8772-RadioU. This is a wild one, where we have someone who says, my coworker has been bringing her golden doodle puppy to the office almost daily. Not every day. The dog is quite mischievous, and while its behavior has gotten better over time, I've decided it's not my responsibility to manage it. That's a good boundary to set. So we're off to a good start. However, recently, while the owner was in the restroom, the dog grabbed papers from her desk and started chewing them. Another coworker asked me to intervene and check what the dog was chewing on. But I refuse because I don't believe it's fair to clean up someone else's dog's mess. The owner should be responsible for handling the dog's actions. How do I address this situation and get the owner to stop bringing the dog in? I think I like the initial approach that this person has just said. I'm not dealing with this dog. Once you start kind of dealing with the dog, all of a sudden you're going to be asked to do more and more, or assumed that you will do more and more.
Hey, can you take my dog out for me for a little potty break?
Yeah.
Like, no.
Yeah. So you're off to a good start. However, what do you do to prevent this from continuing to happen as long as this person continues to bring the dog in? Can we say, before we get to any of the responses, that this doesn't make you a dog hater? This just sounds disruptive.
Right.
You can love dogs and not want to have to deal with this.
Yeah, I like dogs, but I completely empathize with the person's quandary here.
And Zafira the dog would never do anything like this. She's not really a chewer, but I would never bring her in to work because then I'm just asking for problems.
Yeah.
I've got enough work to do, which might be what you should say to this next time you're asked to intervene with this dog. Regina says, I would definitely get your boss involved. I went to a job interview once and it was weird because once I got there, they were like, it's bring your dog to work day. And there were 3 dogs in the small office.
Ooh.
Needless to say, it was a weird place. And I was not at all upset when they said maybe I wasn't the best fit for a job. But nevertheless, get your boss involved. The boss should not be allowing that dog in the office if it has repeated bad behavior. That's Regina. I don't think having a one-time bring your dog to work day is that crazy.
Yeah, I think that's fun.
We've done that here.
Yeah.
And I still didn't bring Zafira because I didn't want those problems. We also heard from Aiden, who says, document the dog's behavior and mention it to your manager. It's not your responsibility. Management should address the disruption. Now you're giving yourself another task, though. Yeah. You got to start.
More work.
Yeah. Keeping receipts for when the dog does stuff. That feels like the opposite of what you actually want. Mm-hmm. So I guess the hope is just that the boss would notice on their own. Let's see what else we've got here. Emma says, next time calmly let the owner know her dog's actions are affecting others and suggest she leaves it at home. That sounds so reasonable.
Yeah.
But who wants to have that confrontation?
No one likes confrontation, at least I know I don't. And so I know this conversation would be hard to have, as easy as that sounds, to just be like, hey, this is bothering the whole work environment. Mm-hmm. Please don't bring your puppy to work every single day. Yeah. You know, it's okay to bring it for, bring your dog to work day. Mm-hmm. But after that, this has got to stop. So, yeah, but that's hard. It's hard to tell someone that.
There's a couple things at play here, too. You're thinking if you have to have that conversation with her, it's possible that she's like, she just doesn't quite get it. And hearing somebody else say that would make it clear to her. But at the same time, like, if she's not noticing the dog's chewing stuff up and that's bothering people, she might just not get it. Yeah. Or she just feels like it's not that big of a deal to her that other people are upset.
Right.
Like she's what matters and she wants to bring the dog with her. But I understand why she's bringing the dog because obviously it's a terror. Mm-hmm. And so if she left it at home unattended, it would be chewing up her stuff. Yeah. So I get why she's bringing it in. And so if this conversation is had where she can't bring the dog anymore, she might have to come. That may be a situation where she realizes I just can't have a dog. And this was a mistake, but then what do you do?
And then what do you do? It's so tough. And I know I actually have some experience with golden doodles because I have some family members that have golden doodles and kind of went through that puppy phase recently. Mm-hmm. And that puppy phase is tough. Let me tell you, it's no joke with any dog, but specifically, 2 separate family members got golden doodles and they had to get, dog training and all of those things, which is expensive. So I understand why, maybe leaving your dog in a crate for 8 hours isn't super appealing, especially when they're a puppy. So yeah, it's a tough situation.
Alex says there's a saying for this, not my monkey, not my circus. I guess that's I think you can try going to a manager or whatever, but at the end of the day, you've done the right thing so far.
Yeah.
If you're a fan of the show Friends, General Mills would like to let you know that you might be getting kind of old because they are celebrating the show's 30th anniversary. 30 years since Friends debuted.
Wow.
Back in, I guess, 1994. General Mills celebrating the 30th anniversary by putting out a Friends-themed cereal. It is vanilla bean latte flavored. and you will be able to get it starting next month at special or at Walmart's near you. So that is how they are celebrating. I was looking at the cereal too, and doesn't it kind of, I mean, it's coffee flavored, but doesn't it kind of look like an old person cereal?
I mean, it does look like something my dad would eat.
Yes, thank you. Lie. Yes. Sorry that they're 100% are like there's kids, just like there's kids cereals.
Yeah.
There's old people cereals.
Yeah.
And if you watch Friends when it first came out, you might be aging into the old people cereal. I mean, 30 years. You were probably like what, 20 when it was coming out. Like if that's you and you remember watching it at the time. Then what? So what? You're 50 now?
Oh, geez, Hudson, you're being. This is so. Okay, I love Friends. I love the show. Obviously, I am a younger watcher of the show, I suppose. But yeah, I don't think I would be eating this.
I mean, I'll try it.
Okay.
I like coffee.
Food fight?
Yeah, sure. But I don't even care about Friends. I'm obviously much more of a Seinfeld fan than Friends.
Why not both? I like both.
I just think it's not as good.
Okay.
I just don't think I was never really drawn to it. I, of course, was not around when Friends was, popular. And I guess it still has some popular enough to get a cereal. But so I'm not, I don't know where I'm going with this.
I don't know where you're going either.
But I don't know. Do you just get to the point with the cereals where it's like, if you were a fan of Friends when it was coming out, don't you just wish that General Mills actually just didn't say it's for the 30th anniversary and they were just like, we're making a Friends cereal? Yeah,
but also, I mean, it's cool to commemorate 30 years. It's kind of crazy that it's been 30 years, but yeah, I think it's cool to commemorate. I love the title of it. It's the one with the vanilla bean latte. That's a great, because
clever.
It's a homage to the episode titles for all the Friends episodes, but also, it's inspired by Central Perk, and it's got the little frame that's put on the door, so I like it. I think it's cool.
Except
Except I won't eat it.
Yeah, right.
Unless it's for a food fight.
We are going to try it for a food fight if we can find it anyways. This is going to be good. I am a man, but I have a dating theory for women.
Okay.
This isn't advice. This is just something that I know at least one person did. Okay. They're married now. And I want to know, they were a woman. They are a woman. I want to know what other women think of this.
Okay.
Because I've never heard this before. I'm giving it the name of take the first date theory.
Okay.
It is the idea that as a woman, if a man asks you out on a first date, you always say yes, because it shows that they have the confidence to actually ask you out. And if they can build up that confidence, then they're at least worth hearing them out in a date setting. Here are the stipulations. Unless there's something really weird about them. But like, even if you're like, well, I don't know. Is that how you think as a woman? You're like, well, I don't know. If you're unsure, you still say yes. But if they're really weird, like, you can set your own barrier for what is like out of, maybe they're like 30 years older than you or something. You can say no to that.
Okay.
But like, generally you say yes. If you go on the first date and you're not feeling it, you are willing to pay for yourself. You're not just looking for free meals, which is way different from how I would do it. If I was a woman, I'd be taking so many first dates just to never have to pay for anything.
Okay.
That's what I would do. Obviously, like, there's no no second date guaranteed, and a no, putting out guaranteed either. It's just, you just say yes to the first date.
Okay.
And the idea is, again, maybe you're paying it forward for other women. Maybe this guy's not for you, but this guy, because he has the confidence, because he didn't get turned down, because that feels bad for guys. He might, maybe the guy that she wound up getting married to, maybe he wouldn't have asked her out if he got turned down by a bunch of women and it crushed his confidence. I think that's basically the theory.
That's the theory.
And you get to maybe possibly go on dates with people that may not be for you, but interesting people that you wouldn't have talked to otherwise.
Okay. So are we opening up the Hudson hotline for like women only right now? Like, give us your thoughts.
Yeah.
I mean, guys, give us your thoughts too if you think this would wreck your confidence.
What?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we can open up the Hudson hotline.
877-2-RADIO-U.
From a guy's perspective, like, I mean, I understand why, as a woman, you wouldn't want to take a first date. That's clear.
Yeah, there's reasons.
And I understand why this theory, in practice, it's a theory.
Yeah.
Why it may not be why you may not be very excited about it. But it's worked for somebody. So.
Yeah, I can see why I guess it worked for someone. But yeah, I have to think on this one for a second, but my initial thoughts are that I don't necessarily hate the idea because sometimes we don't always know that we will like someone just off of first impression. So I like the idea of giving someone a chance, hearing them out, and they did work up the courage to ask you out. So that is pretty, that's a good sign. But it does make me a little nervous to be like, the person that always says yes, because I've always tried to work that out of myself because I am kind of a people pleaser. And so I do say yes to some things and I'm like, actually, I really don't want to do that. So I kind of get shy hearing that aspect of it because it may end up causing more harm than
for some
doing
people.
Good. Yeah. For some people that struggle with saying no.
Let's think about it. And we will see if anybody wants to chime in at 8772-RADIO-U. We heard from D, who says, it wasn't a rule, but once I got out of high school, if someone asked me out on a date and they weren't a creeper, I would go out with them at least once, usually with the caveat that she was paying her own way and she'll meet somewhere, not getting picked up, I guess. So D, another example of this working out eventually for her.
Yeah, I mean, it's not... I'm not like totally saying this idea is terrible, but I do think that it's a lot more nuanced than just being like, oh yeah, say yes every single time.
Well, isn't that everything?
Yeah, it's true. Everything has nuance in it. But yeah, there's just parts of me that I'm like, I don't know if I really want to do this, you know?
Well, Susanna says, smart of you to not say publicly on air that you will always say yes to it. Which is wise.
True. Thank you, Susanna.
Well, everybody doesn't even know your relationship status anyways. It's none of their business.
Yeah.
But we're simply exploring the theory.
Yeah, exploring. And I see the benefits of the theory that you have pointed out as far as, helping with people's confidence. But also sometimes I will say, as women, sometimes we can be fickle, and sometimes it can be like we might not always know if we do truly like someone until we see them in a different light, or,
True.
So I always tell my guy friends, if they do like somebody, they need to have the confidence to ask them out or to, ask for their number or something like that, because we as women may not even see you as a potential option until you do make that move. So it's never a bad thing to ask for, a first date.
Yeah. So this is, what we're doing all this talk about take the first date theory to women. This is a lesson for men.
Yeah.
Ask for the first date.
Exactly. That's what I say.
I don't know if every man needs to hear that.
No.
Some be asking way too much.
Again, everything is nuanced. We'll say that, but yeah.
I think there's one more caveat that I can't believe we left off until this, and that is that dating apps do not count. Asking for a first date on a dating app doesn't mean anything.
Yeah,
it's
this
not the same.
Has to be in person.
Yes. All right. I think we've learned a lot. I think Martin Luther King Jr. said it best when he said the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. It feels very, very apt for what's happening to Spirit Airlines now. Yesterday, they filed for bankruptcy protection. In a world of terrible airlines, somehow Spirit Airlines managed to stand out as the worst, her reputation as the worst. And now it's finally coming back to bite them.
I was wondering where you were going with MLK Jr. quote. I was like, wait, what's happening?
I think, doesn't that sum up, eventually those that do wrong they eventually get what's coming to them.
Yep, the comeuppance has come for Spirit Airlines.
That's right, where they are going to continue operating. Mm-hmm. The airline said guests can continue to book and fly without interruption. Yeah, well, without more interruption than usual. And use all tickets, credits, and loyalty points as normal, is what Spirit Airlines said in the wake of filing for bankruptcy protection. Now, the question is, why would you at this point buy a ticket for Spirit Airlines when you know good and well there's a chance that eventually they just actually shut down?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like when you're looking for a deal, you might not necessarily look too hard at the airlines or whatever.
Well, yeah, beggars can't be choosers.
Yeah, it's
and when you're
unfortunately true.
When you're trying to fly, it's expensive enough as it is to even fly Spirit. Forget about if you want to take some kind of stance of like, well, I don't want to go through that hassle. Let me pay possibly several $100s more to fly on the next airline.
Yeah, I'm just the person that's like, if ever I'm going to travel within the United States and go do something, I'm like the Midwestern dad that's like, fly? No, we're going to drive there.
Yeah. Much less feels like is out of your control.
Yeah.
Is how I would put it.
Yeah. And I also like when you arrive to your destination that you have a car. You don't need to go rent one. Mm-hmm. So it's not like you're, kind of stranded or whatever.
Yep.
So I get the appeal of that, Midwestern dad. I understand why you want to drive 13 hours and go to your vacation.
And if you grow up in the Midwest, driving long distances they don't feel as long as if, like for me, when I was growing up on the East Coast, where although I grew up 30 minutes from a grocery store, I grew up where like you could go places that were interesting and not have to drive that far. Midwest, not as much.
Well, that's kind of been like the false belief of, I feel like Midwesterners, we feel like we have to go, 13 hours to go to the beach. But it's like, we still do have pretty cool things that are nearby us, but we've been told our whole lives we have to go to Florida. We have to go to South Carolina.
Yeah. To bring it back to Spirit, though, the one negative, because, nothing can be truly positive, is that if they go away, that's one less, it is a lot less headache possibly for people, but it's also more money you might have to spend and less competition in the airline industry, which means that the other ones left can get to be just as bad as Spirit. And what are you going to do about it?
Right. There's no option after that. One of the reasons why they are filing for bankruptcy protection is because there has been increased competition. Mm-hmm. So if the competition does end up knocking them out, I don't know. Is it really better for the consumer at the end of the day?
Yeah, it's tough to say. Thanks for listening to The Hudson Show. Please don't forget to rate and review the podcast.